Hello, everybody,
Hello, 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 hello. I am the wife.
and I am the entrepreneur, and this is the Wife and Her Entrepreneur
What
podcast.
episode? What episode is this? Episode 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. So episode 3, and the entrepreneur has picked our topic for tonight, which I am not aware of. So this should be very interesting. That means I'm probably gonna have to freestyle, but hey, won't be the first time. Pretty good at that.
Well, figure we could talk briefly
Briefly.
about defining goals. One of the things I think a lot of entrepreneurs and their wives become disconnected on is an entrepreneur has the goal of providing for his family, and his wife has the goal of providing for the family, but they both define providing for the family in very different terms and are on two very different paths in many cases about how they plan to do that. And if you don't know how I'm going to do it, and I don't know how you think it should be done, then neither one of us can do it. So if I'm saying, hey, I want to provide for my family, which means I believe that there's a certain standard of living that they should have, but there's also a certain amount of sacrifice that I believe we may have to make to get to that standard of living. But I don't tell you about the sacrifice part.
Mm-hmm.
Then we haven't clearly defined what the measurement of that goal is, or the path that I'm taking to that goal. So then when you thinking, well, oh, this got a little bit hard, he's going to do this, and I don't, that means there's a disconnect. So the key there is to not only clearly define, we call them family goals,
That's a good thing.
but in addition to clearly defining those family goals, having a clear understanding of the path you believe you have to take or are willing to take to achieve those goals. Thoughts?
Well, I wish you would have mentioned to me what the topic was going to be so I could have had my speech together. You made a very valid point. I do think that when you look at what the goals, as far as what the family goals, that we both want our family to succeed and we have things that we want them to accomplish. But I do think in the beginning of our marriage that our goals were...
Misaligned.
That's a good word. That would be a good way to, you got your, that vocabulary will come out real quick. So I think that now, we're at a point where we talk about what our goals are a lot more than what we were in the beginning. I think because of just the communication that we have, for with each other and for where we want our family to be, and how we're able to now try to instill that in our children to be able to set goals. Because I know that's one of my struggles with my own personal goals and my goals for my family. My goals for my family, I have no problem setting those. Goals for myself, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more challenging, but I think that may have been some of the misalignment. Did I say it right? Say the word right?
Sure.
I'm country. I think that may have been somewhat of the disconnect.
Oh.
So, family goals are very good. That's a good way to put it. I never thought about it that way as far as what the goal is for the entire family. And then with the family goals, and then under the family, you have sub goals for everybody else, and the goals in your personal that you're working on individually.
But you still have to not only have the goals, but understand how you plan on achieving those goals. So,
Well, and I think when it comes to achieving the goals, it's when you have the setbacks or the hiccup or the, oh my gosh, this is not happening, and you think you got 2 steps ahead and you get 2 steps back, and then it's not just your goal, it's the goal for everybody in the
why it's gotta
household.
be, but that's where you just stick to the plan. If you don't have a specific, this is what the plan is. You just got a goal, but you have no plan on achieving that goal. You just say, this is what we're going to do. Then when you get a setback, you don't have anywhere to reset. You don't have anywhere to go back and say, I'm going to do this. But if you have a plan, then when you get a setback, you stick to the plan.
Well, I think when you have the setback, though, you have to also take into account the emotional turmoil that happens with the setback.
I don't deal with that. I just keep going.
Well, I mean, but, and that is you. I am the emotional, oh Lord, the sky is falling. What a world, what are we going to do? And
If the
you,
sky starts falling, I got to find somebody to pay for pieces of the sky so we can sell them pieces.
and this is why
I'm
you
just
only
saying.
can focus on one thing at a time.
Exactly. I hope the
Yeah.
sky don't start falling.
I hope not either, because right now I'm
I'ma
about
sell
to
it to
figure
y'all.
out how you gonna sell the sky, and I'm like, who would think of how to sell the sky?
That's what I do.
Right here, you want to figure out how to sell. There you go. That's my CT culture impersonation. There you go. The man with the brain with the plan.
So, that's our podcast for today.
That's it.
Set
That's
goals.
episode. What is it?
You don't have to
Episode.
know what you're going to do. You got to know how you're going to do it, too.
And you also need to make sure that, I think a really good key is this. Because, like, for me, I learn visually, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're probably more or less, you can just plan it all out in your head. But I think that when it comes to goals, that people, I write it out so everybody can see, like, a business plan of what the goals should be.
Okay. When we get back, I want you to show me your business plan.
I have a lot of notes everywhere, but I have also ADHD,
See,
so
that means you haven't written.
I wrote a lot of stuff down. I got a lot of
It's a
stuff
plan
written.
somewhere in there.
There is a plan in there.
Okay.
If you can decipher what my plan is.
No, that's all right. That's not my plan.
I know.
That's your plan.
But we have a family plan.
Yeah.
And our family plan is what?
Make money and travel.
Make money and travel. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining and listening, taking the time out. We greatly appreciate it. Hopefully if you have any questions or anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we look forward to talking to you guys next time. Have a great one.
Peace out.
Peace.